Welcome back, y'all. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Tonight, we're just going to be recapping Tennessee's win over Missouri at home. That was a must-win game. I mean, Mizzou came into Thompson Bowling, ranked number 15? We're ranked number 4. We talked about this earlier today, that we are in a spot to still get a number 1 seed. And it's looking like it might come out west, but, man, this was a really, really big win. We have Oklahoma coming up next, I believe, on the 8th. And please do make sure to like and subscribe whenever y'all do get in. Let me go ahead and get to this one right here from my dog, Matt SS, saying, heck of a game. Go Vols, baby. You already know. Yeah, that was a big one. And we didn't start off the best. You know, our offense is still kind of sputtering to start games off. But I'm very proud of the way that we finished. We got to find a way to get it going a little bit earlier, though, because that's not going to work for some of these better teams. So let's go ahead and pull up the box score right here from ESPN. We're not really going to look too much at Mizzou, even though they did have that one kid, number 31, 37, whatever. Dude, he's lights out shooting. He almost brought him back. That last 3 that he hit, that was crazy. But anyway, talking about Tennessee, let's start off with Felix. He had a really nice game. He had 12 points. So we're seeing that he's being consistent scoring. Talked about this earlier, right? Like we talked about this early on in the season. We need for Felix to find some scoring prowess, and that's definitely happened. You can tell that Coach Barnes wants to get those guys the ball down in the paint. He had several blocks too. What they say, he had 3 blocks. He had 4 fouls. It looked like a couple of times he might have got his 5th, but I'm happy that they didn't call it on him. Some of the fouls too were really ticky-tack. But, I think that he played a very, very nice game. He had 6 rebounds, so that's great. Igor, man, listen, Igor balled out, 21 points. He had 10 boards. I mean, he's always leading us with rebounds. How many threes did he hit? He went 2 for 3. I think he actually started off maybe 7 for 7 or something. I mean, he was just on fire. So he scored 16 points without missing a shot. So he did a really good job. Also, I think that his defense, it's been great. He had 4 blocks. How many steals? It looks like he had 2 steals too. So just an all-around great game from Igor. This is the guy that we wanted to see. It's not just about the spot-up shooting, but more, I think the biggest focus for me is who can get to the basket consistently. Now, we know him being 6'10" and all that, being a long guy, but he can also put the ball on the floor and he can move. So I was really happy to see that. I need for him to continue to do that. Like whenever the offense isn't moving, I need for him to be one of the guys to say, hey, get me the ball and I'm going to, we can almost run like an ISO, whatever. If there's nobody basically in between me and the basket, there's nobody down the side of that paint, I can take these guys off of the dribble and I can finish. So I love that from Igor. Excellent, excellent game. Next, we have Zezy, who also scored 21 points. Now, we talked about this after the previous game. The Tennessee won without Zezy and without Igor. They're both back, and, people are like, well, maybe we're better without them. I don't think anyone on this channel said that, but I've seen it in some places. But obviously, we are not better without them. They bring a whole lot to this team. And Zezy, I mean, you can't measure how big of a heart that young man has, but just on fire shooting. I don't know if maybe it was good for them to get that rest, but his stroke, it looked a lot better. So he actually went 4 for 4 from 3. Let me see, he went 5 from 9 from the field. And how many assists did my man have? So he had 8 assists. He had a few turnovers too. How many turnovers did they give him credit for right here? 2. So it felt like he had more than that. Just still some very careless stuff, especially in that first half. We got to get that cleaned up. And I love to see these guards going out and getting boards. You got to do that. That's so important once we get into March. So he had a just phenomenal game. He always plays shutdown defense. It was a couple of times when players made shots over him just because they were taller than him. But he made it tough on him. He didn't give him any easy shots. So that's all that you can ask for. Next, we have Chaz, who didn't do too much. He had 10 points. I think he might have had 2 early on in the game, and then he scored the rest of the 8. I want to say it probably all came in the second half. But he did hit a couple threes for us, so he went 2 of 5 from 3. I think that his defense has been stepping up too. That's something that's going to be critical. That's going to be huge. He's got to make sure that he's continuing to fight through the screens and all that stuff on defense. So I love that part of his game stepping up. But I still need for him to work a little bit harder to get open. I don't think that he does enough. Like when he cuts off of those screens, I don't think that he's cutting hard enough. I don't see enough pop. I don't see enough burst. And he definitely has it. He's such a smooth dude. You know what I mean? Like that's just how he moves. But he's got to find that extra gear, and he's got to do it consistently. And he needs to start doing that, I would say, in this next game, because you got to get your body in shape to sustain that over the course of a game, especially in the tournament when you're playing games back to back to back to back. Like, we need for him to start doing a whole lot more of that. He's got to be able to get to the basket. You can't just be this jump shooting guy. And what I noticed, from the game is that, man, they were pretty much bracketing him. They had a guy, over the top. They had a guy underneath them, and that actually opened up some more things for us, more in the paint area. So he's just gonna have to. He's a guy that's gonna have to do a little bit more than what he's doing. 10 points is not always going to be good enough for us. Chaz needs to be giving us, I'm gonna say, close to 20 every single game. So hopefully that is going to be coming up here pretty soon. Now, Meshack, I don't feel like he played as much. The minutes aren't up just yet, but I don't feel like he played as much tonight for some reason. But always, man, his defense is tremendous. He scored 7 points. He's still, trying to get to the basket. And teams are teams are making that harder on him. He's got to find, like a little floater or something, like a quick little jump shot. If he can find something like that, then all of a sudden, man, he's a guy that I would say, hey, maybe he could score 10 for us every game. I think that he's that good of an athlete. He just has to continue to play with that confidence. But, I am happy to see that he is playing with a little bit more confidence. And he actually hit a 3 tonight. So that should be good for his overall confidence moving forward. But again, you can't say enough about how good his defense is and how much he means to this team as well. Coming off of the bench, man, I think that K. Phillips, just like he always does, played very well. He actually got 4 points tonight, with all of the, lobs and stuff. All of our bigs do a great job with that, and our guards do a really, really nice job of setting that up. So, I'm proud of what he does all the time. You know what I'm saying? He's just an all-around tough guy, and you definitely need that. Always gives you some good, tough physical minutes. Let me see what else he had here. He actually had 8 assists. Now, we talked about this too last game, how good of a passer he is. As a big man, he can really lace them. Some of the passes were a little bit careless, but I like the confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep on working on that stuff. Next game might be a good one to do it. You can't play around too much. Oklahoma is not just like a slouch of a team, but it is a team that we should be able to beat. So, hey, let's start trying a few things here and there, because for me, y'all, it's all about the tournament. This stuff right here, yeah, it's great to win. We all love to win. We always hate to lose, but it's not the end of the world when we do. So next, let's talk about Gainey. Gainey played pretty well. He had 10 points. How many turnovers? He only had 1 turnover, which is great for him. And it feels like he averages like 2 or 3 turnovers every single game. He had 3 assists, and let me see, he went 1 of 2 from 3. So I think that he did some really, really nice things, and I'm super proud of him. Defense still looks good. There was some times, and not just with Gainey, but with all of our players, that I was thinking, are they starting to get a little bit tired? Should we maybe try to rotate in a little bit more? I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. With actually, and I don't even see my man on here. But anyway, let's skip that and let's just talk about D Stone, who had 4 points. A lot of times he looks a little bit lost out there. I don't know what he's doing sometimes. Like, he'll have some crazy fouls. Not to be too hard on him, but he's got to clean that up, man. He's got to lock in, and he's got to kind of look at how everybody else is moving and play more like that. Sometimes I almost feel like he's freelancing, and this is like, what the heck are you doing? But I think that he had an okay game. I'll say it that way. He didn't really do a whole lot for us, but Bishop Boswell is who I wanted to speak on. I want to see him get some more minutes. You know what I mean? He only played for maybe like a minute. He's got to get more than that. We've got to give him some more opportunities, because we're going to need him in this tournament. So I'm hoping that we can just force him out there. Just force him out there and let him get comfortable. We're going to need him. So hopefully that will be the goal moving forward. I can't wait to hear what Coach Barnes has to say. But let me get to some more of these chats right here. Next one is going to be from Wesley Spears. What's going on, Wesley? Saying, great win. Go Vols. Absolutely. Huge win. Huge win. Steve Jesse is saying, go Vols. Go Big Orange, baby. And right here, Matt SS is saying 66% from 3. Wow. Yeah. So actually, in the first half, y'all, I think that we were like 48% from the field and like 80% from 3. And we're losing. I forgot how much we're losing by, maybe 5 or 6 points or something. So I kind of felt like, dang, is this going to turn into a blowout, for us in the second half? Or are things going to start to kind of, go more Tennessee's way? It's rare that you shoot that well and you're still losing. Now, I don't think that we shot as many shots. We got to be more consistent in putting up shots. I'm not saying just, obviously not just shoot stupid stuff, but if you're open, you gotta take those shots and you got to do it with confidence. So I think that we started to do more of that in the second half. I would also love to hear y'all's thoughts. Why do you think that Tennessee, we've kind of started off slow in the first half with our offense? The defense is always there, but the offense, it does, it starts off slow, and all of a sudden in the second half, it just looks totally different. There are some times that I think that maybe Zezy over dribbles, try to keep the ball moving. Maybe let the ball touch several people's hands. Maybe that will get them to move around some more. I don't know, right? Like, I'm not like a basketball expert, so I really don't know. But I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on that, because again, I think that is something that Tennessee's going to have to get so much better with moving forward versus some of these better teams. Because if you start off slow, versus like an Auburn or somebody like that, which we kind of did actually. But if you start off slow, I would say versus a team that has a really good offense, which the team that we played up against tonight did. I'm trying to make the point here, but it's hard to do because our defense is so good that it limits everybody. But even still, we've got to get off to some faster starts. Maybe that means feeding the paint more. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. Let me get to some more of these chats though. From Randy Payne saying, GBO, yes, sir. Go Big Orange. Thank you for joining us. And from Steve Tweed saying, finally some offense, and saying, good game for both teams. Go Vols. Yeah. I think that really, I don't know. Let me go back to the stats. It's hard for me to see it from that screen. But I think that the offense for me in the second half of the previous game might have looked better than this one. It was close, but, I think that we can get a lot better with our offense. Again, if we just play 2 full halves of really solid offense, we could probably be averaging, 85, 90-something points every single game. But let me go through the overall stats because I think that was Matt who brought that up. That was a really good point. So 50% from the field is what we finished with, 67, almost 67% from three. The free throws, man, we do got to do a much better job of that, man. Gainey missed a couple of them down that home stretch. We got to be more clutch than that. I really like the fact that Felix is a very solid free throw shooter. And we can also kind of talk about what we limited their players to. Let's see. Wow, man. I did not realize. So Bates, man. Bates had 22 points yet. He was pretty much lights out. He's one of the guys that I was talking about earlier, playing really good defense on him. He's making tough shots. There's not much that you can do about that. So he's a guy that's really, really difficult to guard. I think the next highest score for them was Perkins, number 12. He had 16. Looks like Grill, number 31. He had 11. But where's the one kid at that was knocking down? Was it number 21, Peyton Marshall? I don't remember exactly what this kid's number was, but man, his three-point shooting was ridiculous, and he can put it on the floor. No, it couldn't have been Marshall. I don't know who that was then. I guess maybe. Oh, okay. Maybe that was Grill. Maybe that's who I was talking about right there, Grill. Yeah. So anyway, they got some guys that can absolutely shoot. Like their whole team can shoot. And I know that people are frustrated with us always fouling somebody shooting a three-point shot every single game. But that's going to happen whenever you play a tough three-point defense. I think we still have the number one three-point defense in the entire country. Sometimes you're closing out hard. The calls are not going to go your way. So I'm not too mad at that as long as we can limit it and it's not in critical moments because I do think that we're still only averaging like one per game. So overall, y'all, I love what this team did. And just to let you know what the upcoming schedule is, like we said, February the 8th, we have Oklahoma. On February the 11th, we have Kentucky. Both of those games, we're going to be traveling. And then we come back home to see Vandy February the 15th, February the 22nd. We're going to be going to Texas A&M. That's another really big game. So we do have a pretty tough stretch coming up here, man. And then after that, February the 25th, we're going to LSU. March the 1st, huge one at home versus Alabama. That one's one I think that we all will have circled on our calendars. March the 5th, we're going to Ole Miss. That's going to be another tough one. And then March the 8th, we're going to get to host South Carolina, another tough one. So it pretty much never ends, you know what I'm saying, inside of this very, very tough conference. But I'm very much excited about, where Tennessee's at right now. I think that we are in a great spot. I just want to continue to see that consistency. I want to see us find, more consistent scores. And this is the schedule right here for y'all that I was just kind of reading off. But that is pretty much it for me. It's been a long day. This is going to be my third video today. But, hey, listen, we appreciate y'all so much for joining us. Let me make sure that I've got to all the chats before we get out of here. Okay, yep. we got to all of them. So listen, I hope that y'all enjoy y'all's night. We'll be coming back tomorrow with some more content. As always, we hope that you will be joining us for that. And please do make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.